A key part of this thing is this whole happiness thing that's going on. I think it'd probably be good for us to define what happiness. Problem is, if you go to the dictionary and you look up happiness, I mean, it's not a problem. It's just happiness, a state of well-being and contentment. Pretty good, but I think we could do better. Happiness is inner worth. Inner, I think we all get that. That's who we are, what we are that makes us up, right? Worth is where it gets really interesting. Worth is, worth equal to value, having assets or income equal to, deserving of. This is basically saying that the value is equal to, what did they say? Equal to or deserving of it. The sum, another way of doing it is sum. The value is equal to the sum of the whole of the thing. A really easy way of understanding it. Let's say you're playing that game where you have a jar of jelly beans and you have to guess how many jelly beans are in the jar. There is actually 50 jelly beans in here, but if you say there's only 25, then you're undervaluing it. Or if you say there's 100, then you're overvaluing it. That's not, that would be less than, right? The equal would be, if you value it at 50, then you're getting the full worth of what that jar of jelly beans is. So that's the worth. Now, what's interesting though is how do you judge the value and the sum of a person? Well, it's really hard to, but you know who does is God. God knows the full value. He knows everything. The only other opinion that really matters is themselves. What do they think their inner worth or their worth or value is? Problem is, we don't do that, do we? We think about what do other people think? What do other people find us valuable or not? That's what we really care about. Or we think that there's other things that'll make us happy or bring value, which is money or popularity. These are all things that give the value to it. But the question is, what is the sum? What is the reality of what that thing really is? We might put the misvalue, we might put the wrong value on, overvalue things that don't really matter. What really matters is that inner, whatever the inner self of you is. Now it doesn't have to be obscured or unknown. We can break this down to see what gives humans value. Let's look at what gives value. What gives value is its purpose. How well does it fulfill that purpose? That's what value equals. How well do you fulfill your purpose? So the question is, what gives something purpose? That's the real question. Well, I mean, I guess if we look at the Almighty and the God himself, what has given him purpose? What's his purpose? We know that his purpose is love. Because it says here that God is love. It says right here, God is love. God is love. If that's his purpose, maybe we should make our purpose the same thing, to love, which is happiness. Love is happiness. Or saying, I want your happiness, and in return, your happiness. And what do we say happiness is? This worth thing. Some sort of intertwined loop going on. There's nothing outside of this model that we're seeing because it's pointing towards itself. We might be onto something. We might actually be discovering the key to the universe.